Good afternoon everyone. Today I am going to discuss about the grid and cloud computing subject unit 5. So coming to the topic, that is identity and access management functional architecture. So in the cloud computing we are going to maintain we are going to perform some services like authentication, authorization, editing, IAM architecture, and some more functions, that is user management, authentication management, authorization management, access management, data management and provisioning, monitoring and auditing. So these are the different services we are going to perform in this identity and access management functional architecture. So this concept and definitions of IAM functions for any services, that is first one is I told now only, that is authentication. So what is mean by authentication? An authentication is a process of verifying the identity of the user or system. So authentication is nothing much, we are going to identify the user identity and system identity. So whenever the user is interacting with the system, so we need some identity in order to identify. So group of peoples are interacting with each other. Okay, so I'm going to interact with other person, which is my friend. So he is going to identify me. How he is going to identify? I am not able to see her, and she also not able to see me. So how they are going to identify I am the friend of that person? So he will be identified through the identity of the user identity and system identity. Okay, so we will be identify that user identity and system identity. We confirm that we are going to communicate with our user, with our known person. Okay, so that is called the identity. So whenever I am providing some data in the cloud, we have to provide some user identity, and they will be provide the system identity. Okay, so this is the very important. So authentication is nothing but authentication is a process of verifying the identity of the user or the system. So the authentication usually connects a more robust form of identification in some use cases, such as service to service interaction. Authentication involves verifying the network service requesting access to information served by another service. Okay, so this is called the authentication. So the main use of authentication is nothing but in order to verify the identity of the user and the system. So this is mainly connects to the robustness form of identification. Okay, so this is the one service which is used in this architectural management functional architecture. Okay, so next service is authorization. Authorization means authorization is a process of determining the privileges the user or the system is entitled to once to identity is established. In other words, authorization is the process of enforcing policies. So authorization is nothing but who main person, who is the main author, who is developed by that person. So that is called the author. Is called authorization. So that process is developed by that person is called the authorization. Okay, authorization is nothing but the site or the application who is developed, that person is called the authorization. Authorization is a process of determining the privileges the user or the system is entitled to once the identity is established. So this authorization is going to establish the identity of the user or the system. In other words, we can say the authorization is a process of enforcing the policies. Okay, so this is called the authorization. Next, coming to other service, that is called editing. So editing is nothing but in the context of IAM. In the context of IAM, editing entails the process of review and examination of authentication and authorization. Authentication is nothing but now only we have discussed about that. Authentication will be it identifies the user identity and system identity. Authorization is nothing but the authorization will be establish the system identity and user entity. That is the difference between authorization and authentication. Authorization will be develop or establish a identity to the user or the system. Authorization means authentication means it will be identify the user identification and system identification. Okay, so that is the difference between authorization and authentication. So here examination of auditing is nothing but in the context of IAM, auditing entails the process of review and examination of the authentication and authorization records and activities to determine the advocacy of IAM system controls to verify the compliance with established security policies and procedures. For example, separation of duties to detect the breaches in security services and to recommended any changes that are indicated for the counter measures that are indicated by the counter measures. This is called the editing. Okay, next coming to IAM architecture. IAM architecture means whatever the architecture we have here, so that will be explained in this IAM architecture. Okay, so in this IAM architecture, a directory so IAM a directory interacts with IAM technology. A directory interacts with the IAM technology components. So IAM technology means whatever the architecture we are talking, in that technology we having components. The directory will be interact with that components such as authentication, user management, provisioning and federation services, and support that standard IAM practice and process within the organizations. So this is the things which is available in the IAM architecture. So what is mean here IAM architecture? So the architecture is telling IAM architecture. So in this we having the directory that interacts with the IAM technology components, such as IAM technology means IAM architecture here. IAM architecture technology components such as in IAM technology what we are having components authentication. Authentication means what? It will be identify the user identification and again and system identification. Okay, so user management, the user will be completely manage that system. Provisioning means we have some resources which is available in the architecture, and federation services and support the standard IAM practice and process within the organization. For example, Windows system using Active Directory, Unix system using LDAP. Okay, so this IAM processor to support the business. So mainly this processor is mainly used to support the business that can be broadly categorized as follows. So that is user management. What is mean by user management? So this user management nothing but activities for affecting governance and management identity cycle. Okay, what is mean by user management activities? So the user management activities affecting the governance and management of identity life cycle. Okay, next authentication management. What is mean by authentication management? In this authentication management activities are for the effective governance and management of the process for determining that entity is who or what it claims to be. So this is called authentication management. Next coming to authorization management. What is mean by authorization management? So the activities for the effective governance and management of process for determining the entitlement rights that decides what resources are an entity is permitted to access in the accordance with the organization's policies. So this is called the authorization management. Okay, so in next coming to access management. Access means we are going to access the policies by sending the request that is user and getting the services from the that organization. Okay, so enforcement of policies for access control in response to request from an entity that is user and service wanting to access an IT resources within the organization. So if you want to access any IT resources from the organization, you are providing the request that then you get that service from that organization. So that is the access management. Next, data management and provisioning. What is mean by data management and provisioning? So propagation of identity and data for authorization to IT resources via automated or manual process. This is called the data management and provisioning. So next, monitoring and editing. Monitoring means we are going to monitor the complete organization. Okay, so monitoring, editing and reporting complaints by users regarding access to resource within the organization based on the policies. So depending on the policies in the organization, depending on the policies, the resources whatever users used in the that can be monitored and editing. We can monitor that process, and we can editing that. Okay, so main definition of this monitoring and editing is monitoring, editing and reporting complaints by users regarding access to resource within the organization based on the policies. So this is called the monitoring and editing. So next, coming to IAM process support the following operation activities. So what is mean this provisioning? So this is a process of onboarding user to system and applications. So in this we having the credentials and attribute management, credential and application management. In this having the credential and application management. So in this these process are designed to manage. So why credential and attribute management we are using here? So this process are designed to manage the life cycle of the credentials and users attributes. It creates issues, manage, revoke to minimize the business risk associated with identity impersonation and inappropriate account use. So mainly this purpose is we are used in order to create whatever the user attributes are there, that user attributes are created, issues whatever the issues whenever we are creating some user attributes, if we get any issues, we are going to manage that and revoke to minimize the business. So mainly used to minimize the business risk associated with identity impersonation and inappropriate account use. So this is called credential and attribute management. So next, coming to the process, in this we are having some attributes, attributes are static standard text password. That attributes will be static or dynamic. If it is static, the example is standard text password. Static means what? Constant. So whenever for example, whenever I am using email, okay, so I will whenever I will get any I am going to install any app, okay, so for that I will get a OTP. So sometimes we will get OTP. The OTP will be static means a constant. So sorry ma, once again I am saying example. Static means constant, dynamic means changes, one time password. So static is nothing but constant password. In our emails we are using the same password. Whenever you are going to open the email in the internet, so you will give the same password. So whenever you open, you will give the same password. So it is a static. Okay, one time password means whenever we will installing any apps or any anything, so it will be asks you OTP. So OTP pin, one time password. So at the time only we will get. Okay na? So that is called one time password. In this we having two provisioning of attributes, that is static and dynamic. Static means the test password will be standard, and dynamic means the test password will be one time password, that will be changes at every time. Okay na? And credentials that comply with password standard. the password resistant to directory attacks, handling the password expiration and encryption management of credentials during transmit and at rest and access the policies of user attributes. Okay, so this is called the credentials and attributes management. Next, coming to architecture, this is the architecture. In this architecture is called the enterprise IAM functional architecture. Enterprise and functional architecture. In this, I having the usage and contract and federation. In this, we having authentication management. Already we have talked about that authentication management. So what is mean by authentication management? Authentication management is the first one, that is nothing but the activities for the effective governance and management. Okay, management of the process, determining that entity who and or what it to be what it claims to be. So what it claims, here we are having employees, suppliers, partner, customers. These are the different things available in the authentication management. So they will be this is the user life cycle. Here we are having the direction. So in this we are having the authoritative source. So in this we have user management. So what is mean by user management? So this user management activities affecting the governance and management of identity of life cycle. Okay, so we having the different provisioning service, data management service, and manual and automated. So we are having a access management service. We are also have that also access management. What is mean by access management? We are having the we are going to access control in response to request from an entity, user or service waiting to access the IT resources. So this is the resources. It is going to waiting for access the IT resources within the organization. So okay, so this is the authentication. So this is the authentication management service. Okay, so this is the access management service, and we are having the provisioning services, data management and provisioning. So what is mean by data management and provisioning services? So in this we are having the propagations of identity and data authorization to IT resource via automated or manual process. Okay, so this is the here. Next, monitoring and editing. So here we are having monitoring and editing reporting services. So here monitoring and editing and reporting services, complaints by users regarding access to resources within the organization. This is the resources organization based on the policies. Okay, so this is the different things we are having. So here users, here we are having contract, and this is the usage, and this is the federation. So in this we are having the direction. So here federation will be access the management service, and remaining users will be access authentication, and they will be acts as a employee, suppliers, partner, or customer. So here these authentication management will be access the authoritative sources, that is user management. So and in the user management service we having some services, that is approve the user authorization based on the roles or rules. Okay, so this will be monitor the complete process. Okay, so this is the working of this diagram, that is enterprises and functional architecture. So in this we are having the next entitlement management. What is mean by entitlement management? So if you have here in this diagram about this thing, we don't have. So entitlement management is nothing but the entitlements are also referred as authorization. The entitlements is also nothing but authorization policies. The process in this domain address the provisioning and DE provisioning, DE data provisioning of privileges needed for the user access resource, including system, application, and database. Okay, so that is called the entitlement management. We can also say it is authorization policy. Okay, next, compliance management. What is mean by compliance management? This process implies that to access the right and privileges that are monitored and tracked the security of an enterprise resources This process also helps auditors to verify verify helps to verify compliance to various the compliance to various internal access and internal access control policies and standards that include practice such as separation segregation of duties, access monitoring, periodic that is called periodic auditing and reporting. So these are the different things occurred in the compliance management. So next coming to identity federation management. What is mean by identity federation management? So this federation is a process. Federation is a process of managing. So we are having the federation in the diagram. So this is the federation here. So federation, identity federation management. So federation is a process of managing the trust relationship established beyond the internal network boundaries or administrative domain boundaries among distinct organizations. A federation is an association of organizations that come together to change the information about their users and resources, enable collaborations and transactions. This is called the identity federation management. Next, centralization. Centralization of authentication and authorization. So a central authentication and authorization infrastructure alleviates the need for application developers to build custom authentication and authorization features into their applications mm, and in this we promotes a loss of coupling architecture where applications become agnostic to the authentication methods and policies. This approach is also called an externalization of authentication and authorization from applications. So in this we having the two users, that is relationship begins from here and ends from here. So relationship I'm provisioning will be provisioning means I'm sending the request to authentication. So this authentication, so here having the relationship between this diagram. So in this diagram this diagram is the life cycle, identity life cycle. So the identity management life cycle, this one. So relationship begins and sending the provisioning. So and provisioning means here we are having a authentication, authorization, self service, password management, compliance and deprovisioning. So I am sending the provisioning here. Provisioning means what? So provisioning means we are providing the manual processor. Okay. So propagation of identity and the data for authorization. So we are in order to get the identity, I'm sending the provision. So I'm getting the authentication. Authentication means what? It asking the to perform the identity. You have to give the identity. So the authorization will be created that will be created that identity, and it will be provide the self services. After self services it will be provided the password management. It will be whenever I'm for example my identity for the my email is salma salma at the rate of gmail.com, you think that. So that is my identity. For that I am providing the for the self service I am providing password management. So for that email id I am providing the password management and compliance and the provisioning. So this is one life cycle of the identity management. Okay. So next coming to I am practicing cloud. I am practicing user management functions in the cloud. User management functions in the cloud. So it means in the cloud user will be perform some functions that will be that function according to that functions we are going to manage that cloud. Okay. The user management functions in the cloud can be categorized as follows: cloud identity administration, federation or SSO, and authorization management, compliance management. So what is mean by cloud identity administration? So cloud identity administration functions should focus on lifecycle management of user identities in the cloud, provisioning, DE provisioning, identity federation, SSO, password or credentials management, profile management, and administrative management. This is called the cloud identity administration. So what is mean by cloud identity administration? So we have to know the identity of the administration in the cloud. So cloud identity administration functions should focus on life cycle management of user identities in the cloud, that is provisioning, DE provisioning, identity federation, SSO, password or credentials management, profile management, and administrative management. This is called the identity administration of the cloud. So by federation identifies, this federation will identifies using the internal internet facing IDP or a cloud identity management service provider. Organizations can avoid the duplicating identities that and attributes and storing them within the cloud service providers. So okay, in this federation, in this we are having the management administrative management. Organizations are not capable of supporting the federation support, explore the cloud based identity management service. So in this we are giving the inconsistent and sparse support to identity standards among cloud service providers. Customers may have to devise custom methods to address user management functions in the cloud. Provisioning users when federation is not supported can be complex and laborious. Okay, so this is called the cloud identity administration. Next, federation identity. So what is mean by federation? Organization planning to implement identity federation that enables SSO for user can take one of the following two paths in the architecture, that is implementing an enterprise's IDP within an organization perimeter, integrate with a trusted cloud based identity management service provider. So these are the two paths we are having in the federation identity. Okay, next having the diagram. So this is the enterprise's identity provider. So in this we are having the internet at the middle, and I having the load balance 2 and load balance 1. So here I having the identity provider, identity provider application and service provider here. So secure attribute changes and this is the SAML. SAML means service that is SAML means service assertion markup language. Okay, so next open SS2 enterprise 1, embedded configuration data store 1, embedded config data store 2. So this is the replication and configuration of data. So directory server 1 and directory server 2. So this will be balancing the load. This is the multi-master replication of user data. So in this this is the load balance 2. So in this we having cloud authorization management. Most of the cloud support. So most of the cloud, this is the cloud support the least dual roles, administrator and end users. Administrator and end users, it is a normal practice among cloud service providers to provision the administrator role within the administrative privileges. These privileges allow administrators to provision, and DE provision identifies basic attribute profiles, and in some cases to set access control policies such as password strength and trusted network from which connections are accepted. So XACML means extensible access control markup language is preferred standard for expressing and enforcing the authorization and user authentication policies. So as writing we are not aware of any cloud services supporting, that is XACML to express authorization policies for the users. So this is called the cloud authorization management. Next, I am support for compliance management. I am support for compliance management. Next is a compliance management. So after enterprises entity provider, we are having the identity management as a service. So identity management as a service means, if you see this diagram, identity management, this is the identity management service here. So what here we are doing means, so in this enterprise see here having the enterprise identity provider. So in this architecture, cloud service will delegate authentication to the organization's IDP. So what is mean by IDP here? Identity provider application. So in this IDP, the authentication architecture, the organization federates identities within the trusted circle as cloud service provider domains. A circle of trust can be created with all the domains that are authorized to the delegate authentication to the identity provider application. So in this deployment architecture, where the organizations will be provide and support an IDP, greater control can be exercised over user identities, attributes, credentials, and policies for authenticating and authorizing users to a cloud service. So next, we are having the identity management as a service. In this architecture, cloud service can delegate authentication to an identity management as a service provider. In this model, organization outsource the federated identity management technology and user management process to the third party service provider. So this is a software as a service model for identity management, where the SaaS identity provider identity IDP means identity identity provider store identifies in a trusted identity store and acts as a proxy for the organization's user accessing cloud services. The identity store means where here, so store means so this is the store. So the identity store in the cloud, the identity store in the cloud is kept in synchronous with the corporate directory through provider proprietary scheme that agents running on the customer's premises. Synchronization of a subnet of an organization identity store to the identity store in the cloud using PVNs. Okay. Once the IDP is established in the cloud, the organization should work within the cloud service provider to delegate authentication to the cloud identity service provider. The cloud IDP will authenticate the cloud users period to them accessing any cloud services. So this is called the identity management as a service. So next, in this we are having the another diagram that is called the identity management as a service. This is the identity management as a service, having the employees here and partners and customers. So okay, here we are having enterprise portal or a hosted portal. So cloud identity service provider. So what is mean by cloud identity service provider? We have personalized portals, compliance and auditing, single sign on, virtualized identity, attribute mapping, synchronization with trusted systems of record. So these are the cloud identity service provider. So this is the things we have provided for this cloud. So we are having SaaS web app and SaaS Amazon EC2. This is the multi-protocol federation gateway. Okay, so whenever the employees want to access this cloud service provider, he will be sent to the enterprise portal. The enterprise portal sends to the cloud identity service identity service provider. Then whatever the service they need, they have to access that, the services will be accessed by the employees. This is the partners. So the same partners are also same he access the data whatever he need from the multiple federation gateway. So next, customer will be hosted the posted portal, and next he access the cloud identity federation service provider, and next he will access whatever the applications or services they need, they can access from the multi portal federation gateway. Okay, so this is called the identity management as a service. So next, coming to cloud authorization management. Now only I told that what is mean by cloud authorization. Most cloud services support at least dual roles, that is administrator or end users. So it is a it is a normal practice among cloud service providers to provisions the administrative role within the administrative privileges. So these privileges allow the administrators to provision and the provision identities, basic attribute profile, and in some cases to set access control policies such as password strength and trusted network from which connections are accepted. So these are the things we are having. So we mentioned here early that that is XACML, extensible access control markup language, is preferred standard for expressing and enforcing authorization and user authentication policies. So we are not aware of any cloud service supporting to express the authorization policies for users. Next, I am supporting for compliance management. So as cloud as much as cloud IAM architecture and practice impact the efficiency of internal IT process, they also play a major role in managing the compliance within the enterprises. Properly implemented IAM practice and process can help improve the effectiveness of the controls identified by the compliance framework. IAM practice and process offer a centralized view of business operations and an automated process that can stop insider threats before they occur. So given sparse supports IAM standard such as SAML. SAML means security assertion, not service security assertion markup language, that is SAML in the shortcut. It is a federation. So next is service provisioning markup language, that is SPML, that is called provisioning, and XACML means it is extensible access control markup language, XACML for the cloud service providers. So next, PaaS, platform as a service availability management. In a typical PaaS service, customer or developers build and deploy PaaS applications on the top of the cloud service providers supplied PaaS platform. Given that the PaaS platform is typical built to cloud service provider owned and managed network. This cloud service provider is owned and managed network servers, operating systems, storage infrastructures, and application components, that is web services. So the given the customer platform as a service applications are assembled with cloud service providers supplied application components, and in some cases third party web services components, that is mesh up applications. Availability management of a PaaS applications can be complicated. So this is called the PaaS availability management. So App Engine resources is measured against one of two kinds of quotas, that a billable quota or fixed quota. What is mean by billable quota and fixed quota? So first, coming to billable quota. So billable quota or resource maximums set by you. The application the application administration to prevent the cost of the applications from exceeding your budget. Every application gets an amount of each billable quota for free. You can increase the billable quotas for your application by ensuring the billing, setting a daily budget, and then allocating the budget to the quotas. You will be charged only for the resources your app actually uses and only for the amount of resources used above the free quota and threshold. Okay, this is called the billable quotas. Next called fixed quotas. So these fixed quotas are a resource maximum set up by the app engine to ensure the integrity of the fixed system. These resources describes the boundaries of the architecture, and all the applications are expected to run within the same limit. That another app that is consuming too many resources will not affect the performance of your app. Next, customer responsibility. Next is a customer responsibility. The platform as a service application customer should carefully analyze the dependency of the applications on the third party web services, that is called components, and outline a holistic management strategy to manage and monitor all the dependencies. Next, coming to platform as a service, that is customer should carefully review the term and conditions of the cloud service providers, that is SLA, and understand the availability constraints. Okay, so this is called platform as a service levels. Okay, PaaS. Okay, next coming to third party web service provider service levels. So when your PaaS application depends on the third party service, it is critical to understand the SLA to the service, SLA to that service. So next, this is called the third party web service provider service levels. Next, PaaS health monitoring. What is mean by PaaS health monitoring? So PaaS health monitoring, we having some the following options are available on the customers for monitoring and help for their services. Service health dashboard published by cloud service providers, and cloud service provider customer mailing list that notifies customers for occurring and recently occurred outages. Okay, so internal and third party based services monitoring the tools that periodically check your platform as a service application, as well as third party web service that monitor your application or not. So these are the platform as a service for health monitoring. Next, coming to infrastructure as a service availability management. So in this availability considerations for infrastructure as a service delivery model should include both the computing and storage infrastructure in the cloud. Managing your infrastructure as a service virtual infrastructure in the cloud depends on 5 factors. Availability of cloud service providers. We have in this infrastructure we are having some availabilities, that is cloud service provider networks, host, storage, and support application infrastructures. So these factors depends on following things, that is cloud service providers data center architecture, including a geographical diverse and fault tolerance architecture. So next, coming to second one, reliability, diversity, and redundancy of internet connectivity used by the customer and cloud service provider. Next, reliability, redundancy, architecture of the hardware and software components used for delivering compute and storage services. Next, availability management process and procedures, including business continuity process established by cloud service providers. So next, coming to infrastructure as a service health monitoring. So in this we are having service health dashboard published by the cloud service providers. So in this we having the web console or application programming interface that publishes the current health status to your virtual servers on the network and the network. Next, key privacy concern in the cloud. So we are providing some key privacy in the cloud. So we having the mixed security and privacy. Here we have some additional considerations to be aware of, that is access. Data subjects have a right to know the personal information which is held, and in some cases the makeup can make a request and stop the processing it. So in cloud, main concern in the organization availability, provided the individual with access to all the personal information and to compile with the stated request. So this is called the access. Next, compliance. What is mean by compliance? So this compliance is a requirement in the cloud. What are the privacy compliance requirements in the cloud? So what are the applicable laws, regulations, standards, and contractual commitments that governs this information, and who is responsible for maintaining the compliance? So this is one question which is asked by the key privacy concerns in the cloud. Next is storage. So where is the data in the cloud stored? So where the data is stored in the cloud? So where it is transformed to another data center in the another country? So what data is stored in the cloud? What type of data we are going to store in the cloud? And such transfer may occur without the knowledge of the organization, resulting in the potential violation of the local law. Okay. And next, coming to retention. So how long is personal information that is transferred to the cloud? Which retention policy governs the data destruction? How does the cloud provider destroy at the end of the retention period? So how do organizations that their is destroyed by these cloud service providers at the right point and is not available to the other cloud users? Okay. And other cloud users. Next, this benefit this benefit turns into challenge when the organization tries to destroy the data. You can truly destroy the information once in the cloud. So next, coming to coming to audit and monitoring. What is mean by audit and monitoring? So how can the organization monitors this cloud service provider? So we are showing our in our organization we are having the monitor. So how that monitor will be monitors the cloud service providers and provide assurance to relevant stakeholders that privacy requirements are met in the cloud. Next, privacy breaches. How can you know that breach has occurred? How do you ensure that cloud service notifies when a breach occurs, and who is responsible for managing the breach notification process? So this is called privacy breaches. Next, coming to SaaS availability management. Software as a service providers are responsible for business continuity, applications, and infrastructure security management process. Some major organizations that are aligned with industry standards such as ITIL will be faced with a new challenge governs of software as a service, as they try to map internal service level categories to the cloud service providers. Next, customer responsibility. So what is the customer responsibility? The customer should understand the SLA and communication methods, that is mail, RSS feed, website URL with outstage information to stay informed on the service outages. Next, coming to software as a service, health monitoring. So everything in everyone we have infrastructure as a service platform in the every service models we having the health monitoring. So this having the software as a service having the health monitoring, it for having some following options are available to the customer to stay informed on their health of their service. Service health dashboard published by the CSP cloud service provider. Usually SaaS providers such as salesforce.com publish the current state of the service, current outage that may impact customer, and outcoming scheduling maintenance service on their website. The cloud computing incidents database, customer mailing list that notifies the customer and occurring the recently occurred outages. So these are the same health monitoring occur in every service providers. Okay na? So this is called the service health monitoring. So thank you everyone. The next so this is the last topic of the unit 5. So thank you for listening.